Talking to people isn't that complicated. I've spoken to over 600 people in the past year alone, and I found that 80% of my results came from about 20% of my actions. You don't need a full fledged game plan to get started. Instead, I'm going to tell you what worked for me. And in case you're wondering, my name is Pranav, I'm 18 years old, and I'm not going to waste your time. The first thing that you need to do is simply get exposure. Realize how many people are you exposed to in your day-to-day life, meaning how many people could you potentially speak to. Because for example, in a high school, you got like what, 1,000 other kids there. You're exposed to a lot of people compared to being stuck in your room. There's no people just wandering in and out of your room. Maybe your family, but they don't count. You got to figure out where you will be exposed to the most amount of people and where you can actually speak to those people. If you're at a funeral and everybody's sad and nobody wants to talk, that's probably not a great place to be exposed to people. But someplace like a gym or a school or like, I don't know, a job or something where you can actually speak to people, engage with them, have the opportunity to initiate some sort of conversation is what you need. It's the foundation for everything else that follows. Simply put, if you don't have people to talk to, how are you going to get better at doing so? And so this is kind of a lifestyle thing, which is easy to say, and to a certain level, it is easy to implement, but you actually have to live some sort of life outside of your house because this is the foundation. Like without this, you cannot get better at talking to people. And so I cannot overstate how important this is. Living some sort of life where you are actually able to speak to people. There's a couple ways you can do this. I mentioned a few. You could also join some sort of social group, like a martial arts gym. You can do boxing, powerlifting, whatever comes to mind for you. But you got to get exposed to people because that leads into the next part of this video, which is initiation. When you are exposed to people, now you got to start practicing the art of opening your mouth to say something. And this is like reps of the gym. If you want to grow your bicep, you do reps and you do that over the week, over a month, over a long period of time, where the more reps you do, the stronger you get. You move up to bigger and better things. Like you start off at a 10-pound weight, then you do enough reps, you move to 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. The same thing goes for talking to people, because the reality is you're talking to somebody right now and you're most likely at a low level. That's okay. It's like a baby learning how to walk. You don't criticize a baby for being bad at walking, right? Because it's not good at it yet. It needs time to practice, to learn, to actually get good at it. So you got to go through those baby steps. You got to go through those repetitions of realizing you are probably pretty bad at it right now. That opening your mouth and just saying something, it's going to be difficult. But you got to treat yourself like the baby or the beginner at the gym who is just starting out. You're going to be lifting the 5-pound weights of just saying hello, how are you to a random stranger at the gym, random person who's close to you, where you can just say, hi, how are you? Simply opening your mouth is a rep. Simply speaking to somebody and trying to face your fear, that is success. And getting a conversation afterwards, that's like an added bonus. That's like an added reward. And so building up those reps, going from a 5-pound weight to a 10-pound weight to a 15-pound weight, the better you get at initiating, the better you're going to be able to talk. Because once you start building those fundamental skills of how to open your mouth, then that becomes instinctual after a while and you move on to something else. Then when you improve that thing, that becomes instinctual as well. And you gradually start staircasing your way up. Because people who are good at talking aren't thinking about, what do I need to say? What am I going to say next? How do I open my mouth? Because that's just natural for them. So they're focused on other things that may be out of reach for you right now, but you can build up to it just because it's a skill that is developed. And so a practical way of actually speaking to people around you, that makes it way easier than just seeing somebody 50 meters away from you, walking up to them, feeling nervous, and then just having a weird sort of conversation, is something I call the theory of friction. And the theory of friction is basically how easy is it to speak to somebody in the situation you currently are in. Where, for example, if you're in the gym, it's super easy to talk to basically anyone there. Where if you're asking for a machine, you're asking, how many sets do you have left? Oh, you got 2 more sets? Can I work in with you? Or if you're sitting on a bench and somebody taps you on the shoulder, asks, are you using this bench? Or like whatever else. It's super easy to get a conversation going in the gym because it's easy to just see somebody who's close to you because everybody's working out. Everybody's using the machines. Everybody's like within arm's reach of each other. And so it's easy to pick up a conversation compared to, being in a train, right? Say this train is completely empty and there's only two people. You're sitting on one end of the car, and on the other end, you can see one other person who's also sitting there. It would go against the theory of friction to get up, walk down the train car, sit down in front of the other person and say hello. Because in all honesty, that goes against societal norms. That goes against social norms, and it makes you seem like a weird sort of person. That's what we want to avoid. Where say you go up to a bus stop and there's a few people there, like you're all waiting around like this one small area, you're all within like arm's reach. It's easy to pick up some sort of conversation and just say, hello, how are you? Or are you catching this bus? And the other person says, whatever, and they reciprocate. You basically got to find out what situations is it easy for me to start talking to people where there's the least amount of friction possible. And the best example of this, the lowest friction like environment, is basically like customer service, where you basically go up to the person who's required to help you, who's required to be nice to you. And as they're helping you, you could just ask them a few questions about, hey, how are you? How's your day going? How are you doing? And getting some sort of conversation going, because they have to be nice to you. They may not reciprocate a lot, but at least some sort of conversation may get going from that point on. So seeing this in your own life, where people are in arm's reach, they seem sort of receptive, they're not too busy, or they don't have headphones on, or like they're not sleeping or something. Figuring out where it is easy to initiate with somebody, and then simply opening your mouth, getting over the fear in your mind, and saying something is crucial. And that is how you actually initiate and, talk to people. How you actually get the reps in after you're exposed to people, take the next step to initiate with somebody, and you get better for doing so. The final effect, like the final part about this, would be the snowball effect. Because when you tie those first two things together consistently, you're consistently going outside, you're consistently exposed to people, and you're always initiating with those people, what ends up happening is this starts to snowball. The first person of any day that I have to go out and talk to people, it's kind of hard because I'm not warmed up. But after I do that first person, it snowballs where I feel more confident. The limitations that I had in my own mind, the kind of awkwardness that I felt, kind of dissipates, and I find it way easier to talk to more people after that. Random people, strangers, whatever. The way I recommend doing this is just talk to two people every single day. Make that a critical priority, I guess, where you're exposed to people, where you're trying to initiate with people. Set yourself the low bar of talking to two people every single day. And this is what I did to get better at talking to people, because the bar is so low that it's hard to fail. It's harder to fail than it is to succeed. And so every single time I succeed, every single time I speak to those two people, I felt good about it. That, oh man, I filled the quota for today. It feels really good. And on some days, I would just leave it there because I was nervous or anxious. On other days, I would speak to the two people, and afterwards, I'd feel like I want to talk to more people. And so I would do so. I'd talk to 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20. I would feel so much better afterwards because I just destroyed the bar. Whether I talked to 2 times the amount of people I needed to on that day, or 5 times, or even 10 times, the amount of progress I felt, even in my own mind, like it's kind of a mental trick, I guess. It made me feel like I made 10 times more progress than I normally would have done. And so that motivated me for the next day to keep going, where I just had to talk to 2 people again. It snowballs, it scaffolds your way up. And having some sort of goal, some sort of trackable metric for you to track makes it very clear about what you need to do. And so combining those 3 things together, exposure, initiation, and the snowball effect, it's simple. It's simple stuff. It's not complicated. You probably already kind of knew this on an unconscious level. But actually hearing it, the next step is to take action, because the simple stuff is often what works best. It worked for me. It helped me overcome my social anxiety. It got me talking to over 600, almost 700 people now, with the intention of getting good at conversations. I don't see there being any downside. And so the worst thing you could do is now watch this video, get inspired or motivated, and then not take any action for it. You don't even have to believe me. Just go out, try the principles that I've said in this video, and make up your own mind. See how they work for you. See how you can make progress, and then just keep iterating on top of that. Keep trying it over and over and over again. Because Don't be like the fat guy going to the gym for the first time and saying, yo, I went to the gym. I did my workout, but I didn't lose all my fat. I didn't make any progress. The first time you do it, you're probably not going to make a ton of progress. It takes repetition. It takes some time. So give it some grace. Put in the effort. Actually do what needs to be done. And don't cope. Don't tell yourself, I'll do it later. Or, I got to do all these things first. It doesn't matter. You can do this at any given point. The only important thing is that you start now. Do something today. Do something to talk to other people. Take some action and improve your life for the better. And that's all I have to say for this video. If you found this useful, you can check out the other videos on my channel, specifically talking about how to get good at talking to people. And otherwise, thank you for watching this video. Have a good one.